It was one of those restless winter mornings at the airport, the kind where everyone is in a hurry, dragging their luggage, scrolling their phones, lost in their own worlds. No one notices much of anything. At gate 14, an older woman sat quietly on the metal bench. Her hair was silver, her hands trembled slightly as she held a worn-out boarding pass. Her clothes were neat but modest, a soft cardigan, old leather shoes, and a little bag she clutched tightly against her chest. She looked lost, confused. And when people spoke to her, she just smiled and gestured, trying to understand, but no words came out. She was deaf. The announcements blared over the speakers, loud and distorted, but she couldn't hear them. A flight change had been made, and everyone around her was already moving to the next gate. She sat there alone, oblivious, waiting for a flight that would never board from that gate. Some people glanced at her and kept walking. Others whispered, annoyed that she was blocking the way. Not one person stopped to ask if she needed help, until a little girl tugged on her father's hand. "Daddy," she whispered, "that grandma looks sad." The father, Jack, a single dad in his 30s with gentle eyes and tired hands, looked up from his coffee. He saw the woman sitting alone, confused, scanning faces like she was trying to catch words that would never reach her ears. He didn't hesitate. He put his coffee down, walked over, and knelt in front of her. The woman startled slightly, clutching her bag. Jack smiled softly, not speaking yet, then slowly began to move his hands. "Are you okay?" he signed carefully. Her eyes widened, her lips trembled. For a second she didn't believe what she was seeing. Then she signed back, hesitant, shaking, "I can't find my flight. No one will help me." Jack's smile grew warmer. "It's okay, I'll help." He asked for her ticket and read it. The gate had changed nearly 20 minutes ago. If she'd waited any longer, she would have missed her flight entirely. He helped her gather her bag and walked her to the correct gate. His daughter, Ellie, followed quietly beside them, holding her small teddy bear. The woman kept thanking him through trembling hands. "You know sign language?" she asked. Jack nodded. "My sister was deaf. She passed away a few years ago, but she taught me everything before she did." The woman smiled sadly, touched his arm, and signed, "You have a kind heart. The world needs more people like you." When they reached the correct gate, Jack waited with her until the boarding announcement appeared on the screen. Before leaving, she took his hand, pressed something into it, a small paper note. "For you," she signed. He shook his head. "You don't need to." But she smiled insistently. "Please." He tucked it into his jacket pocket and waved goodbye as she boarded her flight. He didn't know that moment was being watched, not by one, but by several people. One of them was a man in a gray suit, standing near the VIP lounge, frozen. He wasn't just watching, he was starring. Because that old woman, the one everyone ignored, was his mother. Nathan Steele, CEO of one of the largest tech companies in the country, stood motionless. His jaw tightened as guilt washed over him like a tidal wave. He had sent his mother on that flight, but had been too busy with meetings to accompany her. He had assumed the airline staff would take care of her. They hadn't. But a stranger did. He watched as the single dad lifted her bag with care, as the little girl smiled at her, as his mother, who rarely smiled at anyone anymore, laughed silently with joy. For the first time in years, Nathan saw her truly happy. He didn't approach then. He just stood there, heart heavy, eyes stinging. Later that night, when her plane landed, his mother texted him, a rare message from someone who rarely used her phone. "I met an angel today," she typed. "He spoke my language when no one else could." Nathan stared at the message for a long time. Then he opened his security app and replayed the airport footage, zooming in on the man and his little girl. He had to find them. 2 days later, Jack was working at the small auto shop where he fixed cars to make ends meet. The bell on the door chimed, and in walked a sharply dressed man, tall, serious, the kind of presence that makes people pause. "Jack Miller?" he asked. Jack wiped his hands on a rag and nodded. "Yeah, that's me." The man extended his hand. "Nathan Steele." Jack blinked. "Wait, the Nathan Steele?" Nathan smiled faintly. "You met my mother at the airport." Jack froze. "Oh, she was lost, I just—" "You spoke to her," Nathan interrupted gently. "You helped her when no one else did." Jack smiled awkwardly. "Anyone would have done the same." Nathan shook his head. "No, they wouldn't. I was there, I saw." There was a long silence before Nathan pulled out a business card. "Come to my office tomorrow. I owe you more than thanks." Jack tried to refuse, but Nathan insisted. The next day, Jack showed up nervous, wearing his cleanest shirt. Nathan was waiting in a sleek office with floor-to-ceiling windows. "My mother hasn't stopped talking about you and your daughter," Nathan said. "She wants to invite you both for dinner." That evening, they visited the Steele's mansion, grand but surprisingly warm. Nathan's mother ran to greet them, hugging Ellie tightly. She signed joyfully, introducing Jack to every servant, every room, like he was part of the family already. Over dinner, Nathan watched them interact. The way his mother's hands moved freely again, the way Jack listened with patience and kindness, the way Ellie made her laugh. When the night ended, Nathan walked them to their car. "Jack," he said quietly, "I built a company that connects people across the world, but I couldn't even connect with my own mother. You did that in 5 minutes." He took a deep breath. "I want to offer you something, a job in our accessibility division. You'll help us build real tools for people like my mother." Jack blinked, stunned. "You're serious?" Nathan smiled. "Completely." Tears welled in Jack's eyes. He nodded, shaking Nathan's hand. From that night on, Jack's life changed, but so did Nathan's. The cold, distant CEO started visiting his mother more, even learning sign language himself. And every weekend at that same airport cafe, you could find them all together. A once lonely mother, a hardworking single dad, his bright little girl, and the man who learned that kindness speaks louder than any language on earth. Because sometimes the world doesn't need words to hear love, only hearts that are willing to listen.